Mother, please understand me.
This is as much as I can give you. Take it. You want my baby, but you do not want me.
Imagine this. You're an American woman, a daughter, a divorce behind you, and a Korean man on your phone who feels like the first real love of your life. You get pregnant. He begs you to come to Korea and be his family. So you sell everything you own, you grab your little girl, and you fly to the other side of the world for him. And the day you land, you find out he never even told his mother that you exist. Her name was Rachel, and trust me, the war started before she even unpacked. Chapter 1. The man on the screen. Rachel was 31, divorced, raising her daughter alone, and completely done with men. And then a guy named Doyun messaged her on a language app. "Your Korean is terrible," he wrote. "Let me help you." "Wow," she typed back. "You lead with insults. Bold move." Only with people I like. And just like that, she was smiling at her phone at 2 in the morning. For 7 months, he was everything her ex never was. Patient, funny. When her daughter Sophie climbed into the camera one night, shy, holding a stuffed rabbit, he did not get weird about it. "Hi Sophie," he said carefully. "I like your rabbit." Sophie decided right there that she liked him. Then Rachel found out she was pregnant. Her hands were shaking when she typed it out. She braced for the disappearing act, the way men always left. Instead, her phone rang. "Marry me," Doyun said. He was crying. "Come to Korea. Be my family. I will take care of everything. I promise you." And Rachel, who had not heard a promise like that in years, believed him. That was her first mistake. She did not do this halfway. She sold the furniture. She quit her job. She packed her whole life into 4 suitcases. And 5 months pregnant, with Sophie holding her hand, she got on a plane to a country she had only ever seen on a screen. Doyun was at the airport, spinning Sophie around in the air. "You came," he kept saying. "You actually came." "Of course I came, Rachel. We are family now." She should have noticed the way he flinched when she said it. Chapter 2. The woman at the door. He did not take them to a home of their own. He drove them to his parents' apartment. "It is just for a little while," he said, not looking at her, and his mother was waiting at the door, smiling. "Rachel," the woman said in careful English. "Welcome." That was the last warm word Rachel ever heard out of her. Because that night, Rachel woke up to shouting in the kitchen. She could not understand the Korean, but she understood her own name, hissed like a curse, and she understood Doyun answering. Small, apologetic, the voice of a little boy who had never once said no to his mother. And then she heard one English word the mother threw at him, slow and clear, on purpose. Temporary. Rachel lay there in the dark and felt the floor drop out from under her, because she finally understood what Doyun had done. Before she ever sold her furniture, before she ever got on that plane, he had promised his mother it was temporary. Give the foreign girl a few months and she would go home on her own. He had not asked her to come build a family. He had brought home a problem he was hoping would solve itself. Chapter 3. The girl she chose. 3 days later, the other woman showed up. "This is Haejin," the mother announced at dinner, sitting the girl down right next to Doyun. An old family friend. Haejin was pretty, polite. She poured the mother's water before she even had to ask. "Doyun, eat more," Haejin said, piling food onto his plate. "You are getting too thin." The mother beamed. "See how well she takes care of him?" And Rachel sat at the end of the table, 7 months pregnant, holding Sophie's hand, completely invisible. After dinner, Haejin found Rachel alone in the kitchen. She smiled, almost kind. "It must be so hard," Haejin said, in perfect English. "So far from home, pregnant, with a man who cannot even look at you in front of his mother." Rachel said nothing. "Do not worry," Haejin went on. When you go home, the baby will be raised well, Korean, by people who actually belong here. And then she patted Rachel's arm, picked up her purse and left. That was the moment Rachel understood exactly what this dinner had been. It was not a dinner, it was a handover. And she was the only one who had not been told. Now, let me stop you right here, because you're probably screaming at your screen for Rachel to grab her daughter and walk straight out the door. But where is she going to go? She's in a country where she cannot read single street sign. 8,000 miles from home, about to have a baby. No money, no friends. That family was counting on exactly that. They thought she was trapped. So if you have ever been underestimated by people who are sure you had no options, do me one favor and hit the subscribe button. Because what Rachel does next is the entire reason I wanted to tell you this story. Now back to it. Chapter 4. The only thing they could not buy. For weeks, Rachel could not figure out why the mother's hatred suddenly went cold, calculating. And then one afternoon, she overheard the woman on the phone bragging to a relative. She caught 3 words she recognized: son, grandson, bloodline. So that night, she asked Doyeon point blank, "Why does your mother keep talking about a grandson?" He went still. "Doyeon, answer me. I am the only son," he said finally, "of an only son." And Rachel did the math. The baby inside her, the foreign girl they were trying to throw in the trash, was the only grandchild this family was ever going to have, which meant the mother had a real problem. She wanted Rachel gone, but she wanted Rachel's baby to stay. And the woman who wants your child, but not you, is the most dangerous woman alive. It all came to a head one night near the end of her 8th month. Rachel came down the hall for a glass of water, and she froze. Because there, on the dining table, was a fat envelope stuffed full of cash, a single sheet of paper already filled out. And the mother was sitting across from Doyeon, calm as anything. "She signs," the woman was saying in slow, clear English now, so Rachel would catch every word. "She has the baby, she goes home. We raise him here. We have already chosen his name." She slid a second stack of bills onto the first. "Tell her there is more if she lives this week." And Doyeon was not arguing. Doyeon was nodding. Are you watching this thinking Rachel is about to break? Because she's not. She's about to pick up the envelope and end this whole thing with one sentence. Drop a comment and tell me what you would have said if you're standing in the hallway right now. And then stick with me, because this is a part the family will never forget. Chapter 5. The Sentence. Rachel walked into that room. She did not cry. She did not scream. She picked up the envelope and she set it right back down in front of the mother. Slow. "You want my baby," she said, "but you do not want me." The mother lifted her chin. "The child belongs with family." "Then let me explain something," Rachel said. "And Doyeon, you are going to translate every word, even if your voice shakes." It did. It shook. "The second you wrote his name on that paper," Rachel said, "you told me the truth. You are not throwing me out. You are begging me to stay. You are nothing," the mother snapped. "A foreigner who trapped my son. I am the only thing standing between your family and the end of your name." The room went quiet. "Your only son has no child," Rachel said, "except mine. So keep your envelope. Keep your second envelope. Because if you ever try to buy me again, I will be on a plane that same night and I will take the only grandson you will ever have with me." She leaned down close. "You have one grandson in this world, and he is mine. Your bloodline ends in this living room, or it goes home in my arms. You choose." Silence. For the first time, the mother had nothing to say. She looked at her son. Her son looked at the floor. Because the foreign girl they tried to erase had just picked up the one weapon the whole family thought was theirs and flipped it right back around on them. Chapter 6. What she built. Rachel had the baby 2 weeks later, a boy, and everything changed. The mother who had bragged to every relative that she would handle the foreign girl now had to call those same relatives and explain why the wedding to Haejin was off. Haejin stopped coming. She had bet on a sure thing, and the sure thing fell apart. And the mother, who had spent months trying to erase Rachel, suddenly had to introduce her to the family as the mother of the only heir through her teeth. But she did it, because she had no choice. And Rachel did not even stay to enjoy it. She found a church full of other foreign wives who had survived the exact same kind of house. "You are not the first," one of them said, holding her hand over coffee. "But you are going to be okay. We will make sure of it." And she was. She learned the language 1 hour every single night after the kids were asleep. She got a job, and then a better one. She built her own money, her own friends, her own ground to stand on. And Doyeon had to watch the woman he almost handed back to the airport turn into the strongest person in that whole apartment. One night, he found her at the kitchen table, studying. "Rachel," he said, "I am sorry. I was a coward. I should have protected you from the first day." She did not even look up. "Yes," she said, "you should have. Can you forgive me?" "I am working on it," she said. "But you do not get forgiven because you are finally scared of losing me. You earn it by showing up. Every day. The way I did when I had nobody." He was quiet for a long time. "Then I will start tonight," he said. And one day, not long after, for the first time in his entire life, Do-yoon stood in that kitchen, looked his mother dead in the eye, and said one word. "No." The mother stared at him like she did not recognize him. But she never put another envelope on that table again. Rachel did not win by becoming Korean. She did not win by destroying anybody. She won the day she looked at every last person in that house and decided she did not need a single one of them to give her permission to belong. So tell me, if you were Rachel, 8 months pregnant, stuck in a stranger's country, staring at that envelope on the table, what would you have done? Would you have taken the money? Or would you have set it right back down? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. Stay real, because that's what I crave. This is Sibong Records. I'll see you in the next one. I'll see you in the next episode.